Okay, welcome everybody. Today is our Oz call, open studio on Zoom. So welcome to joining me in the land of Oz. And what we're going to talk about today is the butterfly effect. Now, you may have heard this before, but I really want to hone it down and bring it home to us. And and so the butterfly effect is an effect that was discovered by some guy named Lorenzo. And he actually saw, he was a weather meteorologist or whatever, and he saw that there were small changes that affected the weather. So it became known as the butterfly effect, which was that he noticed that if there was the fluttering of the butterfly in one country, and I think it was Brazil, that he would notice it would affect the weather in England. Okay, and so this has become a very important message for us to think about any small change in, and I'm, excuse me, excuse me, I'm going to use my terms. Any change in a vibrational frequency causes the molecules in the world. This is my description of it, not being a scientist, but it changes the molecules in the world based on that effect. So the fluttering of the butterfly goes out into the world and it changes the weather in England. Well, there's also the statement by Emerson, which is stand guard at the portal of your mind. And with these two thoughts, today's little message to you is that everything you think, do, act, believe in even causes you to create more of that out in the world. Now, one of the things that I really work on in this work with you is to be paying attention to your thoughts for yourself. Like, what do you want to create for yourself? Well, it's also bigger than that. It's to stay paying attention. If you want to make a change in the world, change your thinking, and you will change the world. Remember that song by John Denver, what one man can do is dream what one man, it's like, yeah, what one person can do is change the effect in the world. Now, it may seem a small effect of the butterfly, but if the butterfly keeps flapping and it keeps, all of that comes into effect for the change in the weather. And for us, any of the thoughts, and there is the law of gestation, which is about the idea that you plant a seed and that you must nurture that seed until it does grow. And we know the oak tree, has everything contained that it needs inside of the acorn, but that the acorn has everything it needs. Sorry, I need to turn off my dinger. That everything it needs, but it must have the right soil. It must have the right moisture. It must have the right sunshine. All of those things determine whether and how it grows into an oak tree, and it takes time. So a lot of times what happened, and this is what happened with the movie The Secret when it came out, was that a lot of people say, oh, I just need to think this thought, or I just need to create my vision board over here, leave it on the wall, and all of that will happen and take place. But the truth is that you have to do it, repeat, 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 repeat. Okay, and so we need to pay attention every day to the thoughts that we have. Now, if we want to make a change in the world, we can do that through our thoughts. Okay, so I want you to really think, is there somewhere in your world that you're dissing someone or something? And I don't care what they've done, if they've done wrong to you, they've done wrong in the world, they've done whatever. Think about your thoughts. What are your thoughts? And this is where the idea of for something and against nothing comes into effect. How can you think in a different way about that particular person or that event or that thing in order to make a lasting change? So I had a little falling out with someone. Yes, it does happen, and my feelings got really, really, really hurt. Okay, and so in the beginning, every time I thought of that person, it was like in my mind there was this discontent. In my mind, there was this disruption in my mind, not in that other person's mind necessarily. So in my mind, I had the continual uh, pain and upset and disappointment. My mind, I did it to myself, right? I did it to myself. You may think, well, they did it to me, but they didn't, because I then get to choose. And eventually I got to the point of I don't know why or how, but something in their lives caused them to move in this direction in our relationship, and bless their heart. You know, it's their choice, their experience. Bless their heart. And this is why, you know, many of you who've been with me for a while know that I have kind of a campaign of bless your heart, not in the way that people of the South might use it, but in the way of truly blessing their heart. And so in doing that, my energy shifted, my energy opened up. And then because of that, a healing takes place, right? It has taken place and it is taking place, right? So it's not about them, because every single thing is a reflection of our thoughts. Now, a lot of people say, I didn't want to create that. I didn't want to do that. And it is a huge component of it is how much you have bought into the status quo beliefs. That one way of doing things is better than another way. I was standing speaking in front of a group, and I said, you know, and here I always believed that I needed to be a really good, successful coach before I could go on and do my dream, which was to take people traveling to different places in the world. And as I was saying that, I was catching myself that that was simply not needing to be true. It was only true because I believed it. So I want you to think right now, what are some thoughts that you might have towards something, about something, towards someone, about something, and you are blaming that thing outside of yourself? When you do that, you become the victim. And a victim cannot make change because it's not in their control. And so, how can you take responsibility? And you don't even have to go back and find out what that is. In fact, I'm going to change my mind. Don't go back and find out. Think of what you would love. And this is a great question. You know, you might write it on your mind. What would you love for anything? What would you love? And in the case with my friend, I would love to heal our relationship. And so every time my sadness or my disappointment came up, I went heart to heart in my mind. The divine in me recognizes the divine in her, you know, or my heart loves her heart. Her heart is that perfection. So yes, so it is important to stand guard at the portal of our thinking. Today, I want you to think, what is a way that I can be for something and against nothing? So, and one of the ways I do that with people is I can always see that there is a true divinity at the center of who they are. And then also my greater trust in the divine is the more thoughts I put out towards knowing that the love of the divine is in and through all things. That is my flapping of my butterfly wing, and I know that I'm making a difference. How can you make a difference today simply by changing your thought?